Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday, and thank you for joining us. We are excited to be back for another webinar series. This time, we are starting a brand new 4-part webinar series called Candybox Connect, where each month we will be bringing members from the Candybox team to touch on the different pillars of digital marketing. So we're going to be sharing trends, discussing automation, website conversions, branding, and storytelling. Today, our speaker will be sharing 5 new tactics that companies are using today to win customers. So if you have any questions for myself or the speaker, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of this webinar, and I will be sure to bring up as many of them as I can by the end of this presentation. And if your eyes have not already been drawn to the bottom of the picture here, where we have some delicious Rio Thompson candy, this is not a typo. We will be selecting 5 winners by the end of the presentation. All you need to do is pull out your phone, post a story of this webinar on your Instagram stories, and be sure to tag Darrell K. And I'll be keeping track of all the stories that are coming in, and we'll be sure to share it on our accounts and also announce the winners by the end of this presentation. But moving ahead with the special day that we have today, I'm very excited to introduce you to today's speaker of the day. I have the opportunity to watch Darrell Keezer, the CEO of Candybox Marketing, build one of Canada's fastest growing marketing agencies, which ranked in the Growth 500 2 years in a row. He also created a second business called Launch 48, and that business has as well earned multiple awards, including selecting Darrell as the winner of the Entrepreneur of the Year award for the success that he built around Launch 48. Darrell is the author of 2 published books that I know many of you that are attending today are a big fan of. He released the first book called 37 Ways That Your Website Died, and he recently released a brand new book called Pick Up Your Freaking Phone. And he currently speaks at over 50 events per year around North America to share the latest on digital marketing. So we truly have the best of the best today. We also have a special offer that I'll be providing at the very end of the webinar, so hang tight. This offer is going to allow you to book FaceTime with Darrell, one-on-one strategy sessions, absolutely free, simply by clicking and booking time on his calendar. We did this the last time around in the first webinar, and the feedback has been incredible. The amount of positive feedback that we've received on the success that you've received from the strategy session has been so enormous that we decided to do it all over again. So hang tight, and at the end of the webinar, I'll be giving you some instructions on how you can book that. Enough for me. Let's get the fun started. Without further ado, please help me welcome CEO of Candybox Marketing, Darrell Keezer.
Hey guys, I'm just really shocked that you guys aren't all zoomed out after the last 2 months. And I also just want to thank everybody. The last time we were on, we had an offer out there of free consultation. I spoke to 94 business owners, which was just incredible. 94 business owners over a period of 3 weeks. My kids would bring in lunch for me during the day because I forgot to book out a lunch hour. And so I was just going from call to call to call, but it was really cool to kind of hear the stories of what business owners are doing to pivot. And so I just really appreciate your time today. I'm going to be very direct. We're going to get right to the different topics that we promised. We want to talk about just re-entry. We're talking about the new digital marketing tactics that are working. The title of this is Shut Up and Spend My Money, meaning I'm just going to give you guys things that are so compelling, not for me to spend any money, but basically just to go out there and market yourself. Also, I want to load a quick poll just for fun this morning here, and this is to do with the chocolates. Now, those mint chocolate smoothies are a personal fave. We give them out to our clients every year, and we're giving 5 winners £2 each, which is ridiculous. But these chocolates come in milk, dark, and mint. Sorry, so regular milk, regular dark, and mint chocolate. And so I'm going to quickly launch a poll here to see what kind of chocolate is your favorite. All right, so are you a milk chocolate person? Are you a dark chocolate person? Are you a mint chocolate? Then I was kind of getting confused because, you could have milk mint, or dark mint. And so you're just put yourself in a mint category. That's fine. And then there's obviously all the above. You'll just eat anything that is in front of you. And so feel free to vote. I'm going to end this in 10 seconds. 10, 9, any guesses? What do you think is going to win here? All right. I'm actually a little surprised here. Okay, so just ending the poll, and I'm going to share the results here. We have 40% milk chocolate. So just 40% of you guys, you're just straight and narrow, just want the milk chocolate, just want the real thing. 31% dark chocolate, 18% mint. Wow, I thought this was higher. maybe we need to give out less mint chocolates every year as an agency. I love mint, and so I give out mint, but that's foolishness. And so I've just learned something, and hopefully over the next hour here, you guys are gonna learn stuff. Just to also let you know, there is the Q&A that you can ask some questions. We're gonna be answering at the end. But in order to get these beautiful chocolates here, you're gonna have to tag me or tag anything that's happening here on Instagram. So it's Darrell K, Darrell. I know that's a really messed up spelling, but I was too young to choose it when that was happening. Darrell K on Instagram. So just tag it anywhere there, and we will enter you into win. You'll find out right at the end, which is very exciting, and can't wait. All right, so let's get to the topic. Shut up and spend my money. Now, in the last couple months, marketing budgets have been slashed, some with good reason, some just because they were trying to slash budgets as opposed to people, which I understand. But in regards to a very, very quick recap, before we get to the new stuff, I'm just going to go over 2 slides from last time that is very important for right now if you're doing any digital marketing. Number one, you have to make sure that you have the latest information on Google My Business. Google My Business is a free, so this is not like shut up and spend my money. This is like shut up and take a freebie from Google. You can go get free services from Google where you put out your business hours, your posts, and all those things to do with how you're treating customers with COVID. This is the number one place that customers are going to understand for like opening up stores and all that stuff. And so please go on to Google My Business and update your post profile. I don't have all the time to go forward with that today, but if you haven't taken a look at it, take a look. Second thing is Google's giving out free money. We've just noticed that this week in all of our advertising accounts. Now, there's a lot of stipulations. They're not giving you money for business. They're giving you only money to advertise your business, and they're only giving it to you if you were advertising with Google last year. So as of January last year through 2019. So if you don't qualify, very sorry. If you were advertising, you should have already received the money in your account already. So I would double check your Google Ads account, or if you're working with an agency, just double check that account and see if there is some free money there. The most amount of money we saw was $1,000. And we were like, wow, that's great. We went to the client, they're like, oh, only 1,000, and it's all relative. But anyways, so free money, Google, hopefully you guys can take that to the bank. All right, now what is this? This is a space shuttle launching into the stratosphere. And this is a metaphor for how we closed our economy, okay? It was planned, and like, you know, we not like we had a lot of time, but we basically had regulation, and we're closing. And for business owners, there was complexities with it, but there was a lot of very simple things. Like literally on March 11th, you know, we found out everything was going wrong. Personal story, my appendix decided to go on the same day, which was extremely convenient. And so while I was on my 5th bag of morphine, sitting in a hospital chair getting prepped for surgery, I was quickly messaging my staff, you know, Operation COVID, close the office. We actually had an operation code name, which was very exciting. But it was just like, okay, we're closed. And we thought that was hard. And boy, were we wrong. Now we have the wonderful reentry. And if you've ever watched a reentry or actually done any research on what reentry looks like, you are essentially hurling yourself through space, hopefully in the right direction, almost burning up to a crisp. If you go too light, you bounce off the atmosphere. If you go too heavy, you burn up into absolutely nothing through our atmosphere. You turn into space dust. And you know, the same is pretty much with COVID. People say, well, open your businesses and get going. It's not that simple. So, you know, I say get ready for another change. I'd like to let everyone know your business reentry tactics may not have any semblance to your shutdown tactics. Meaning what? Like all the methodologies that you use to close, it's not like you're just like turning these things back on. We've got new rules of engagement. We've got customers wanting to shop differently, buy differently. We've got different competitors. We've got different issues with different products. Everything is different. It's actually getting harder for the economy to open. I was speaking to a major restaurant chain the other day, and they said that they were allowed to be 30% full in an area, and this is not in Ontario. And they said that if their restaurant is less than 50% full, that they're not profitable. So the government basically said you are allowed to be up to 20% in debt every day you're open, and that's not really a workable solution. So what is actually happening on reentry, and how can we actually spend our money properly. I don't want to spend too much time on the bad. I want to get to the really fun stuff. But in things that we never considered in April were the following. So we had never considered that the government was going to actually have restrictions on everything that we're doing once we're open. We never realized that there would be companies that have a curbside advantage. I mean, holy heck, right? Like imagine like you're opening up and your competitors aren't allowed to open up, and they could be in the same industry, but because you have a curb, you can and they can't. Like this is crazy, right? Or vice versa. Your competitors are opening up and you can't. We've got regional opening right at the beginning. They said we are not going to open it by region, and then recently it's like we are opening it by region, right? Which is challenging. We have the 30 to 50% capacity rule. Religious organizations, different things where we're now thinking of capacity and spacing and all these things. We actually have the U.S. crisis. Before you look at the epicenter being overseas, now it is we're in Toronto. It's an hour and a half away. As of today, they reported 40,000 cases, new cases, on that crazy Worldometer website that we visit every single morning when we see the world burning, right? So 40,000 new cases happening just south of us, which means this is going to be impacting us. And then we also have patios, and the fact that patios are open. So it's like a patio summer. We're seeing different businesses do really, really well. So we've got a client that is into patio heaters, and all of a sudden, restaurants just found out overnight, open up your patios, and they're thinking, well, we're not even ready for that. And so we've got to actually think about this stuff. We look at digital marketing. There's been winners and losers, and just another really interesting example you guys may not know about is that bicycles is way up, and Peloton, right, the biking subscription company, all right, so no longer buy a bike for $79 from Crappy Tire and bring it home. You're now paying $76 a month, and you have to pre-qualify for it. This is crazy. But if you actually look at all the people that have been paying attention to the different products and everything from home improvement to, well, this one is, I guess your body improvement, take a look at their stock over the last 6 months, right? And what was happening in February and March, everything was going down. And, they were just around $20 per share, and now they're at $60 per share just a few months later, 3 months later. So we have to understand that our customers are changing so much, and we want to get back to work. Now, as we're getting back to work, some of us may feel a little bit like this, my job after 3 months off, you can come back now. And after your first day, you're like, okay, that's rough. I want to go home now. This is, our grand reopening, and yet it is nothing like what we saw before. And so we have to think about a lot of new things. I've even talked to local businesses saying that some staff aren't coming back if they're, they want to be on curb a little bit longer. And so we're dealing with really interesting stuff. And so what I want to focus on today is, there's the straight path of saying, okay, well, here's your reentry plan, guys, and this is what the government gives you. And then, on the right-hand side, we have this little pull off, and it's new digital tactics. And hopefully this is your business, just jerking the wheel to the right in these next couple weeks to say, all right, we actually just have to do this entirely differently than we did before. So today I'm going to share with you the top 5 tactics that we're paying attention to as an agency. And we have the benefit of being in the background of a number of different companies. And so we're going to be interviewing the CEO of Factory Tile Depot today, Dan Welland, about not one, but 2 of his companies and what they've done to pivot and how they're winning off of those pivots because companies that aren't pivoting aren't working. So let's get into it. Number one tactic for what's going on here. Oh, that's a robot. Sorry. Here we go. AI, landing pages. Okay, so if you've been on these webinars before, we've talked about landing pages. I've stressed landing pages. What are landing pages? Landing pages are like an individual page that looks like this, okay, that basically convinces one person to do one thing, all right? They have higher conversion rates than when you have multiple products. They can help focus in different marketing tactics, and they don't have the clutter of, if you think about like a corporate website and all the different things you do in the top navigation and the menus and, like all the things and, your HR department wants this section right here, and operation wants this section for people to click through orders. You can just get rid of all that stuff and just be like, okay, one landing page for new customers, and we focus on new business. Now, in the past, what we've done with this is, as you can see here on the right-hand side of that graphic, standard, that is just, going forward, and if you were to select this item right here, let me just actually jump onto it. This item right here, this means that you're just loading up a landing page, sending traffic to it, and whatever you get, right? So if you have 100 visitors and you have 3 people that convert, you have a 3% conversion ratio. In the last number of years, we've been majoring on this, which has worked incredibly well, which is A/B testing. So A/B testing says, okay, we know we have different people coming here and we're not sure which offering is going to work. So should we try offer A or offer B? Do they want a 10% discount, or do they want like buy one, get one 20% off? And as marketers, as business owners, we can all just say, well, I think we should do this, and we run with it. And it's, to be honest, it's arrogant, right? It's arrogant just to assume that you know exactly what users are going to like. We just kind of see that. And so what we do with A/B testing is that we could test 2 different pages or 3 different pages, see which one works, and then make those adjustments. There is a new kid on the block, and it's called Smart Traffic. And essentially, Smart Traffic is this wonderful little AI robot. And this robot takes a look at all the data to do with the customers that are coming to your landing page. So where are they coming from? What are the keywords? What are the demographics that we're pulling in from Google? What device are they on? What is the recent history of searching on this website? And it looks at all those factors. And AI, as we know, can make a lot of calculations behind the scenes that humans may just not even think to make. And so then it determines, this little robot goes, okay, you know what, I see that you're from this area, and statistically in the past, people in that area convert more on this page. So from all of that, as an example here, this is an example that Unbound publishes. And basically there's 2 landing pages. So this is the first landing page, and this is for a CRM software, so customer relationship management software. And so, and they're trying to boost up the referral program. So all they want people to do is say, I want to refer this software to a friend, all right? And they get paid on it. Now, people are motivated to make referrals by 2 different ways. One is money, right? Sometimes people are like, I want to refer you, I'm going to get money. Other people don't really care about the money. Other people just care about making the referral. And so this landing page is focused on making money. This landing page is focused on just making the referral, like helping out a friend. So this one says, save your friend from CRM suffering. This previous one says, refer and earn 20% forever. So you take both of those and you think, well, which one will people like? Well, we don't know who's on the page. And so what we do here is we use this little robot, and AI starts making all these calculations, starts to pick up trends and what's going on with the campaign and keywords and all those different things, and browser history and demographics, and it starts redirecting people to the right page based on a statistical analysis of what has worked in the past. All right, this is a button, guys. We can just turn this on. It's not like you have to program this. This is already done. It's pre-built stuff. So what did this company get? After the first day, they saw their conversion rate go up by 30%. Now, that is not to say their conversion rate is 30%. That's 30% of what they were getting before. And after 3 months, AI kept learning and learning and learning, and they got up to a 50% increase. So if you'd like 50% more leads, and this is just essentially turning on a widget to be like, okay, I want you to, I just want you to figure this out. That's what we're talking about here. All right, pretty compelling stuff. Number 2, discovery ads. So discovery ads are actually something recently released by Google to all advertisers just this last month. And discovery ads are recognizing that 84% of searchers take action within 24 hours of looking for a new product. So if you go out there and you say indoor electric bikes or indoor cycling equipment, they know that 84% of people that search that are going to do something. in the next 24 hours. And so what they do is they actually have new places for ads that are looking for a new product that are going to get these ads presented to them. Okay. Now, where are these ads shown? So these ads are on YouTube, Gmail, and what's called Google Discover. So if you've got a Google device, if you pull up Google for the first time, it's got a number of things below it that will just say Discover based on what you've been looking at in the last 24 hours. So the types of discovery ads, so here we can see on the right-hand side, we've got YouTube, you see the Google homepage, and we see the top of Gmail. These are now new places that we can place ads based on a user's search intent. And these are the different items that we're going after. Number one, remarketing. So remarketing, of course, is when somebody has actually come onto your website or a landing page or a specific call to action page, and then they haven't taken an action that you deem conversion worthy. So for example, if you have a shopping cart, you're selling shoes, if they put something in the cart and they never check out, they abandon the cart, then we want to activate remarketing. Number two, detailed demographics. Google's gathering more and more fantastic demographics on their individual users based on their profiles, where they live, age, sex, all those different things. In-market audiences. So Google actually is now taking all their aggregate data of, this person is getting married in 6 months, hopefully post-COVID. And somebody's looking for wedding dresses and wedding rings and wedding venues and all that stuff. All of a sudden, Google can say, what about wedding cakes? What about a wedding planner? What about different wedding reception halls? What about writing your vows online? What about all these different things, right? And so they actually have what's called in-market audiences, where they've predefined different audiences, and they're going to bring that forward through to you. Then we've got life events. So they can also determine, as a person, what event are you going through based on your searches. If it looks like you're actually moving houses in 2 months, they will figure that out. And so before you get to the new house, it's going to start advertising things like painting, blinds, carpets, all those things that you may be getting in that new place. Then we've also got custom intent. So there's different intents that they'll find that people are taking, where it's like, this person is probably going to be in this area next week, and then we can actually build an audience around that. All right, and all these things, of course, powered by a little friend robot down there, figuring out which ad should be on which network or on YouTube before somebody actually completes that action. Pretty cool stuff. Number three, Instagram highlights. So Instagram highlights is just the top section of Instagram right here. And because a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on with different businesses and with different people during this, and sometimes Facebook is now getting a little outdated, they're going on to Instagram to actually kind of find out what are your new rules of engagement. So if you're opening up a store, of having different highlights here of saying, here's the different things that you need to know about us, as opposed to like pinning something to the top. What we're doing is we're presenting different video series to what customers want. And so, obviously, are you quickly following me? Feel free to follow me on Instagram. And then, if you say something, then you may get entered into chocolates. Another shameless plug right there. All right, so what you want to do in this case with Instagram is that you want to actually populate that top highlight section so that you can actually kind of like, communicate to your users if you're doing something specific like reopening, they're coming to your facility, all those things, you can actually put video in there to help them understand. Alrighty, I'm going to pause just for a second here to see if there's any questions, Mahfouz, that you think you want to throw in here at this time. If not, we can get on to the next part and speak about factory tile, but I would love to see if there's any burning questions that we'd like to answer so far. Mahfouz, we cannot hear you, or at least I cannot.
One more time.
Yeah,
there's a lot of great questions coming in, but I think I'll group a lot of them together near the end. But there was a few questions regarding where you're getting your analytics and how someone can use the tools in the back end to find them. Can you give some insights on what you're using to pull the stats that you're using today?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the stats I was talking about from AI, that was actually published by Unbound. And so what we'll do is and then there's a couple other ones that are annotated on the slide. So what we'll do is we will distribute the slides after this. so that you can go back and review the actual stats and take a look at the case study.
Awesome. And one more question for you, Darrell. Regarding your highlights, what is the strategy that you utilized when you were selecting what you wanted your Instagram highlights to be?
Yeah, so highlights are, for my own personal brand, I like to kind of separate where, the first thing is lifestyle, so it's just Darrell Keezer, the person. Then I go into Candybox Marketing, keynote speaking, books, and then Digital Minute, because those are the different quadrants that I want people to think about when they think about me first. I have lifestyle first because I like people to get to know me and not just be a marketing resource to them. But other people have got some other stuff. So let me show you the next slide that kind of goes into it, Mahfouz. So this is the Mississauga Food Bank. And I'm just going to actually bring up the video here from the Mississauga Food Bank that they're doing right now. And let me just bring it up here. So each one of these that you can see, let me just share my screen. Each one that you can see here from the Mississauga Food Bank. So this highlight is need food. Are you a Mississauga resident in need of food? Visit our website to find your closest neighborhood food bank. And it gives them information about receiving food. Then you also have find your closest food bank. So all these are really geared towards the end user. And so we helped the Mississauga Food Bank just to find if people are actually looking for information, they go onto their Instagram, and even thinking about the different programs, that they can click on the different highlights, and then it's going to give them a number of different videos that help them understand how to interact with the Mississauga Food Bank. So pretty cool idea from them, because it helps direct users of people that are just on their social media profile as opposed to going to the website. Okay. This one, of course, going over the donor stuff. Number 4 is scheduling. And this has been really cool. We've seen a number of clients utilize this because we understand that the number one commodity that we just don't get any more of is time, and we all know that. But in the past, there was a lot of people filling out lead generation forms, which still works today. But for some businesses, it's actually more about timing. And so they don't want, they're researching during the day, but they don't want somebody calling them right away because they're working from home, or they're out, or they're not available. If they want to do a virtual meeting, it's going back and forth to kind of organize that. And so, I've been a huge follower and user of this app called Calendly for a couple of years now. I think probably about 3 years, where it allows people just to go online and make bookings. But what people are now doing is bringing it to the next level and embedding the Calendly application on their website or as their main call to action. So instead of saying get in touch with us and then they're filling out a form and then we're getting back to them and then we're trying to schedule a meeting, etc., we just let them do it right away to make it to kind of get rid of the friction on just booking an appointment. So in that, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to talk and introduce Dan Welland from Factory Tile Depot. Dan runs a very successful company selling any type of tiles in the GTA. And I'm going to just make a quick intro here. He could probably tell us a lot more about the business, but during COVID, he's actually implemented a couple of these things that have led to an incredible amount of success. And so, Dan, I'd love for you to quickly say hi here, and it's great to have you on the webinar today.
Yeah, thank you, Darrell. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries. So I'd love first if you can kind of give a quick synopsis of what does Factory Tile Depot do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Factory Tile Depot is a retailer in the tile and stone space. Over the past 15 years, we've built out and operate a set of 5 prime retail locations catering to both the public and the trade communities, mostly in the west end of the GTA. We're a youthful, motivated crew of approximately 46 of us, focused on improving the tile and stone purchasing experience by way of leveraging custom-built technologies and offering an unparalleled showroom experience led by our teams of certified interior designers. So that's our retail space is our bread and butter, and it's obviously what we're talking about today. So it's
awesome. That's great. And so tell me, so when everything hit, you guys had to close your door. Tell me, how did it impact your business?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So similar to all retail operations, we fell right off a cliff. In normal times, it's a big advantage for us to have the number of retail locations that we do being 5. During COVID, provided the complete opposite. As we had to manage the overheads times 5 with little to no revenue flowing in. Ironically, we had to close a week prior to the mandated closure, as the showrooms were ironically, they were too busy. We had too many clients trying to get material before things shut down, making any sort of distancing impossible within the showroom environment. So our designers were beside themselves and scared, to be honest with you. So we made the call to shut down retail then and there and work on pivoting out our operations as quickly as possible. We moved to focus to our online division within the full closure while it was in effect, providing some new options for trade clients, and then continue to source and order supplies through other means that we pivoted to.
Awesome. No, that's cool. So now I'd like to go on to letting everyone know, what did you do afterwards to try to like re-engage the market and bring people back to shopping for tiles afterwards?
A big one was implementing this online booking platform within our website. So 2 components to that. One of the value adds that we offer in our retail division is one-on-one booked, no charge scheduled design appointments. So over the past 4 or 5 years, we focused heavily on database builds in our e-commerce offering. So while our showrooms were down, we thought, why not offer the same personal design service, but virtually, utilizing Zoom and our back-end technology assets to conduct these virtual appointments. So utilizing Calendly, which you mentioned, and designing a new custom landing page, we built out an optimized structure that would apply to these current conditions as well as moving ahead. So our clients can now see time slots available for these virtual design appointments each day, weeks ahead of time, book on the spot, receive all information to prepare ahead of time, and all seamlessly without any manual interaction from either our clients or our design teams. The second part of the build was to streamline the method in which our retail clients were able to book the in-store design appointments online in the same manner. So we built out another custom landing page using Calendly. And when we reopened our retail, we actually kept our doors closed for the first 2 weeks as retail started to ramp up again. We did this to provide confidence and comfort to our clients and staff as we began to ramp up our operations and navigated the showroom challenges. And then using the new online booking process, we filled up every day, every location for 2 designers conducting these appointments with ease, landing directly to their Google Calendars, all information required, no manual interaction. So a huge benefit for us.
Come on.
It was awesome.
That's awesome. So I bet your team was pretty happy about that.
They were beside themselves. I mean, just the process of not having that back and forth on a manual basis to confirm all these different pieces of information was a game changer. It was let them focus on what they did, and in the background, these appointments just keep on booking.
That's awesome. Do you think you're going to keep doing any of these strategies like in Q4 and looking at the 2021? I mean, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but like has this actually helped improve your business in different ways that you're capturing clients that, I don't know, may not have got out to a showroom? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the virtual side, the virtual designer actually allows our boundaries, our traditional retail boundaries to disappear. So we're able to now offer the service Canada-wide instead of just being in the west end of the GTA. And then the in-store design appointment bookings, absolutely. I mean, we did this to navigate through COVID, but also to lay the foundation of a new, better way to interact with us on an ongoing basis moving forward. So both of these are going to play a key component in our operations moving forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I know this is a number of these questions I'm just kind of asking you quickly here. We didn't, prep all this, but like in regards to your designers meeting with people with like that may have never done this before, so they've never used Calendly before, they've never used Zoom before, and you're kind of going into their homes on camera. Like I imagine there's like always funny stories of it, and we won't go into those. But like, what is your designer's feedback on your customers, like really, like I would say going ahead 10 years in regards to their digital education here? Like what is their overall feedback about onboarding? Like, is it like a lot of challenges, moderate, or has it been easy?
I would say easy to moderate, to be fair. I mean, the scope of our clients range in age groups and different aspects of their professional lives. So it's a wide range that we're catering to. The adoption of the technology for our clients was really simple. I'm using Calendly, just having the, all the links kick out automatically. There's a little bit of navigating for some of the older clients that we deal with, but other than that, it provides us the opportunity to be in a client's home for the first time. So it's a personal space. We're in there, they're showing us the projects, and we're able to conduct that, in-home experience, which is, it's leveraging even further than what we do in store. So it's been really good.
So my biggest question to you now is, if I use this online service and get some new tiles for my backsplash, because I actually desperately need them for our kitchen, do you think somebody that can barely hang a picture can install tiles? Do you think it's like a possible thing, or you think I should just let my stepdad do it and step away quietly?
Well, we've got the DIY how-tos on the site, so if you got a weekend to spare, go for it. But it is something you can tackle yourself, and we do guide you through it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good times. Well, I'm going to keep you on here for a second and make a quick switch to another topic, which I think needs to be talked about now, but I think we're not wanting to talk about it because it's just not very convenient. And that's, this wonderful second wave that we're potentially looking at. And once again, you may say, well, Darrell, there's not going to be a second wave and all that stuff. I don't know if there is, but, none of us knew if there was going to be a first wave. And it was funny, I was having a conversation with somebody the other night. They're like, well, maybe it's going to be just like the Spanish flu. And so it just hits and it leaves. And I was like, yeah. And I thought to myself, I know nothing about the Spanish flu. So I quickly Googled it. Apparently there was 3 waves, and the second wave killed the most amount of people. And I was like, oh, dang, like that's not good. So, let's just say not a lot of companies prepared for, the first wave. And okay, we're working it out. We've been working with a number of our clients and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do now. Here's what we're going to do as things go away. But then let's actually have a better coordinated plan for a second wave, just in case it happens, right? Some people say it's inevitable. Some people say it's not. Some people say we're in it. I don't really, I'm not a health expert. But one of the things that you've gotten into and want to also talk about is the model of continuing business when things close down. And a lot of businesses that did incredibly well during this time have been subscription businesses. So if you take a look at Amazon and the amount of money that they've made during this, not just from online purchases, but repeat purchases, upselling, building out their product category, which has been amazing. But there's a lot more companies than Amazon that are into subscription. And so in regards to subscription, if you're kind of wondering what I'm talking about here, COVID has actually accelerated what's called the subscription consumers who depend on companies to reorder common goods. And so, for example, I've got a number of things on subscription. It's embarrassing. This is my picture on the right-hand side of just some of mine. So rooibos tea, deodorants, and then actually this is weird, sparkling water. I don't know why that's on there. Also, paper towels. These are things that they have to come every month. I'm going to need deodorant. I'm going to buy the same deodorant. And so I just want that coming in. Now, a couple quick stats on this. That was interesting to find. This is from the McKinsey analysis. So it was subscriptions were previously doubling every year. So they're growing about 100% year over year. 15% of Canadians are currently ordering stuff off of subscriptions. And these are the different percentages of types of subscriptions. So there's one for subscribe for replenishment. So just like those I just shared you, I just need to replenish paper towels every month. I don't want to carry it in the truck or my car because it's really bulky. And so I just have that delivered every single month. And so those just make sense, right? Things like razors, vitamins, all those things are just coming in. 55% of subscriptions right now are for curation. So this is the magical boxes of I'm going to order from, I'm just trying to think of all the different clothing manufacturers where it's you just get a new shirt or pants or something that you would have never picked out every single month. And then the third one, and this is interesting because you hit on 2 of these, is subscribe for access. To say, if you get a subscription, then you get exclusive access to pricing, availability, or terms. And so in the past, it was things like very specialty products. But the last thing I'm going to show here is something that you've introduced in the marketplace, Bluo, and you've just launched this recently, where instead of buying face masks, you identify for business owners and even residents and stuff like that. But I know one of the primary things a lot of people on here and business owners is the fact that I don't need 100 masks for my business. I need 100 masks every month, and it's going to be consistent. And I don't want to run out of masks. I don't want to change masks. I don't want to send somebody out to buy them because these are now a necessity. And so, so you created this new company, Bluo, that talks a little bit about subscription. So tell me a little bit about your journey here and kind of like launching this and what you're enabling businesses to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, as with many other concerned entrepreneurs in Canada, when we saw the issues surrounding the mask shortages in early March, we jumped in to assist where we could. Focusing at that time on the much needed medical grade masks, we were able to help supply a significant volume to Canadian frontline workers over the following few months. All of these products were coming from China at the time. Navigating that space and experiencing how difficult it was to land and move vetted consistent supply from overseas. The last shipment that we brought in, we included the machines to actually make the masks here locally in Canada. So as the medical supply caught up and the directives from the federal government for all of us changed, for businesses and personal, we set out to create a subscription-based model where Canadians could secure a trusted supply of high-quality, good-looking Canadian-made non-medical masks landing to their door of business consistently on a monthly basis. A subscription model made sense here. Unfortunately, it appears for all of us that we're in this for the long run. So the idea here is to take the ongoing stress away from this ongoing need for masks and provide Canadians peace of mind that every month supply will be delivered to your door anywhere in Canada, personal or business. Our Bluo mask is a 3-ply full black with black loops, top quality mask in convenient sleeves of 10 per pack, which we offer on a subscription-based model, as you see. And then for larger companies with minimum order quantities, we can actually do custom color masks with logo imprinted, again, delivered to their business as required. So yeah, it's been a journey, but it's something that we feel is a need for all of us as Canadians to have a trusted supply, domestically produced, and out came a Bluo.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. Well, Dan, thank you so much for your time today. I even want to kind of ask you to hang around because we're just going to be opening this up to Q&A in 2 minutes here, and I imagine that maybe a couple people have questions about your business and journey. One of the questions that came up just quickly through the Q&A was, what about, like, this is for a product, but what about a service? And even at Candybox, it's not always about just the subscription via like website, but it's just even business model. As an agency, we actually moved from doing video, like a video project, to doing a video series with a lot of our clients and built it into a bigger strategy. And that wasn't just like an e-commerce play. It was really just a business model play. One of the expressions of that could be e-commerce, or it could just be implemented within your business. If you've got a service business that like makes sense to be on a regular basis. And the reality is if your service is valuable enough for them to have over and over again, don't sell it to them once, right? Sell it to them multiple times. So Dan, just before we kind of get into Q&A, I just want to quickly, do the whatever it is, like the weird Zoom clapping top right-hand corner thing. Where is that thing? For you, really do appreciate your input on this webinar. Please stick around if there's any questions.
Sure. Thank you.
So last item here, guys, is if you are currently running a business, and I just also want to make this very clear for business owners or for marketing managers, if you've got existing marketing materials that you'd like me to see, feel free to book me on the link in our webinar here. So it's calendly.com/dkeezer/webinar. You can choose any slot on my calendar. As I said last time, I booked up with 94 appointments in close succession, but you got me like 5 o'clock on a Friday. I usually sound a little hoarse, but I just absolutely would love to meet with the different business owners. There's no obligation to get anything from our agency, but if you want to take me to take a look at either social media or your website or landing pages and kind of come back with some suggestions or recommendations, I'd be really happy to do so. So at this time, I want to invite Mahfouz back to kind of announce some winners. I think we've got 10 pounds of chocolates we've got to bring out there, and then after that, we can maybe do some Q&A.
Darrell, thank you so much for a very powerful webinar. There's so many good material there, and the comments are just filled with a lot of valuable things that everyone's learning. So thanks for that. Very quickly, before we get into Q&A, I want to announce the top 5 winners that were selected. And before the other 99% hates my guts, I want to let you know that this link that you have to book time with Darrell on his calendar is a prize for everybody. We all are winners if you book time with him and get a free marketing session. So I did drop the link in the chat below. So please do book some time with him and fill out that calendar as much as you can. Take full advantage of the FaceTime and the one-on-one time you get with him. So the winners of the giveaway, the 2-pound candy giveaway, we selected 5. There's a lot of stories coming in, but the 5 accounts that have been selected are the following Instagram handles. Number 1, Miriam Wild. Number 2, Mike Anthony. Number 3, Carlina Wah. And Carlina, I'll give you 2 if I could. You were posting more than anyone. You went over and beyond. Number 4, Find My School. And number 5, Signs Alive. So congratulations to the 5 accounts that were listed there. We'll reach out to you through Instagram. We'll make that arrangement happen. But thank you for everyone for participating with that. And we're still going to continue sharing your story with our social media accounts. So thank you for providing that. Darrell, I want to dive into a couple of areas here with the time that we have left. And I've been able to group them into specific areas of the different topics. And it seems like the first thing that became super popular more than anything else is the conversation around Calendly. Before we dive into the strategy side, could you give a quick basic explanation about what Calendly is, how it's used, and between yourself and Dan, because both of you are using it very successfully, I'd love to hear some ideas in different ways that you're using Calendly for your business.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. And you know what, let me just quickly share my account. I don't mind that at all. Just for the record here, we are not a Calendly what would it be, investor or reseller or anything like that. And so you can check it out on Calendly.com. Candybox Marketing did not build this. And so it's a very amazing tool where it just basically helps you with scheduling. And so, for example, if I were to jump into my account here, the first thing you do is you actually set up a number of different types of events. So I even have like, here's our webinar events here, and I can create a URL for it. I can tell people, you know, how long it is. I can tell people when they can actually schedule, right? Like what's the actual scheduling in there. And you can even do things like integrating, you know, Zoom video conferencing right in there. So it automates all this stuff. And so I don't usually like, I don't like spending a lot of time just going back and forth with people on email. And so if I'm, you know, quickly writing an email, and if I just, you know, write, you know, a quick thing here where I just write, my URL, where is it here? Sorry. This is my standard URL I send out on anything, even like text message. It allows people to go in here and say, all right, I want a 30-minute meeting. Here's the 29th. It automatically synchronizes with my calendar. So it knows, okay, here's the time he has available. Here's his book time. So it allows you to go in there, confirm it, book it, and go for it. So that's kind of like the personal use. For Factory Tile Depot, I've got it right up here. Right on Factory Tile, if you would go in here and click on, sorry, Dan, if this is okay, I can kind of demo your own website for you if that's fine.
Yeah, please do.
So if you click on book a free design consultation, down here it talks about what we're actually doing. And then down here it's embedded. So this is like, kind of imagine the calendar tool embedded in this landing page. So I don't even need to leave factorytiledepot.ca. I can just quickly click in here, confirm, you know, have my information, my phone number here, and then I just say phone. I'm going to say this is just a test. Sorry, guys. And click schedule, and I am good to go. So well, maybe I'm just going to do this design appointment anyways. We'll see how they can do it with my backsplash. So all this stuff is, it is within an app. There are different pricing options for Calendly. You know, I'm not going to go into it like a salesperson, but there is a free version or the freemium, and then there's other versions you can get that gives you, you know, access to more calendars, etc. All right.
Excellent. And yeah, guys, like we have the Calendly link here so you can book some time with Darrell. Do give yourself some time to even poke around a little bit and learn how the tools work. It's just an incredible strategy to not only generate leads with the right type of questions, but also manage your own time. You know, you want to make sure you only open up availability that works for you and how you can accommodate that. Darrell, I want to also ask you another question here about content marketing strategy. During the pandemic of all time, are there any strategies and advice that you would share that allows businesses to readjust the way that they share content online right now during the pandemic?
Mm-hmm. Are you talking like what kind of content they should be sharing, or like what networks they should be sharing on? I'm not sure if it was any more specific than that.
The question didn't give me a whole lot more to work with aside from that. So, but
Sure.
from what I'm getting out of this, I think what should they do with their content strategy? So, which platforms should they be looking at, and what type of conversation should they be having?
So the first thing I'd recommend is whatever communication you're doing right now digitally, realize that all of your other communication isn't being listened to, and so rather than pull back, double up. Meaning that, like, if you blog once a month, blog twice. If you were only updating your website every once in a while, do it regularly. Because your digital presence is now it's not like a front door, it is your front door. Whatever your content plan was last year, you should literally be looking at doubling it. Now, in regards to the type of content, I would say the tone of being sympathetic towards people, using the word like understand, and like not too corporate. So don't be like, we apologize for the inconvenience of our stores being closed. Like, just be like, we're sorry that people can't get their orders on time. Because I apologize sounds like I'm talking to like Microsoft, but I'm sorry sounds like I'm talking to like an actual sales rep, somebody from a store being like, what, I'm really sorry. We are trying to get our orders out as quickly as we can. In regards to different types of content that should be out right now, I think that it should be sensitive to the times, also including Black Lives Matter, and just being strategically supportive of people going through very difficult times. I would say that people are going to be understanding with your business if you're understanding towards them. But if you're coming off as cold and not really paying attention to what's going on, it just doesn't look good on corporations. And so double it up, be sensitive, and use real words.
Fantastic answer. I want to shift gears to the conversation that you had about subscription near the end of your webinar. There's a question here around how to utilize subscription model for their service business. So the company that we're speaking to here wants to use the strategy that you provided, but doesn't offer products. Is there any ways that they can use the same groundwork to offer services on a subscription basis? Yeah.
So I know I kind of maybe talked about this right before the Q&A bit, but like any business can kind of move towards subscription, even offline, right? If you have contracts, you can, move from annual to monthly or quarterly, and think about long-term partnerships, not like one-hit wonders. Now, if you can make an e-commerce expression of that, so even, booking time or having a subscription and then allowing that person to pay online, that's cooler. I've been thinking about it that, like, I changed barbers at one point. I changed barbers because my current barber, I had to just walk in and get an appointment or call, and the other one I could just book on a mobile app, and that's a service. And I would book it online. Now, the second level that I've always kind of wanted that to go to is that there's a fact that I cut my hair every 4 weeks, or sorry, I know this is like the one time that I don't, but I should be cutting my hair every 4 weeks. Last time I was there was February 11th. And so, but like when I'm there, I'm thinking, well, now I just got to book this again. Like, why don't we just like automate this somehow? Like every 4 weeks on a Monday, I'm going to be here at 8 a.m. And maybe I'm too pedantic as a person or too predictable, and that's not like everybody else. But if I was like any service business, I would be looking into like, how do I move my customer, not just like hope for their loyalty, but program it in.
Fantastic. I think we have time for maybe one more question. And guys, I just dropped a link once again in the chat box to book a free marketing session with Darrell directly in his Calendly link. So do take a look at that and take advantage to that as much as you can. My last question for you, Darrell, is around video content. I know we haven't spent enough time on video content in this one, and it's definitely part of our webinar series that we'll be doing going forward. But the question that's asked here is about how to repurpose your video content to engage with your audience today. So what are some things that you've been doing differently with video now that maybe was quite different from pre-COVID times?
Okay, so full disclosure, Mahfouz, you are the one that is our brand manager, and you've been working with a lot of our clients on their video projects. And so I'm not answering this question. You're going to answer this question. Like, this is a great question for you. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
Perfect. My first thing that I'll throw into the ring right off the bat is pay attention to what others are doing. And when you pay attention to what others are doing, and I mean even in a mainstream environment, you're going to see people like Jimmy Fallon and all these late night talk shows that used to be in a high production studio, now adjusting and pivoting the way that they do video, right down to the fact that they're in their home with a studio set up, trying to produce a lower quality production. And it's still being very, very highly consumed by the market, very acceptable regardless of the fact that the quality has dropped a little bit versus a high production studio. It's more acceptable than it's ever been to produce homemade videos to put out there to communicate with your audience. And for any of you that's been considering trying videos, it's a good time to try and experiment with this strategy to put out more content in a video format. We've talked about this for a very long time as Candybox Marketing, where we shared the value of not hiding behind your logo and actually showing the face of who you are behind your brand and speaking to your customers. This is a good time to try it without worrying about production quality. There's a lot of opportunities that are there in video right now, and there's many of our clients that have done this very successfully, and we've been very fortunate to help them even from a social distance environment and produce great videos that their audiences are loving. And I would even argue that they're getting more engagement now with this refined version of video than they were getting when they did a higher production video. And Darrell, you've been quite active as well on your video side. You've been doing combinations of Instagram live videos. You've been recording yourself in selfie mode and uploading it on Instagram, and they've been doing really well as well. So do you mind, with the couple minutes that we have left, just chiming in what you're doing internally as well?
Yeah, and I know it's top of the hour here, so I would say that the most important thing is right now video is bringing out authenticity because you got people in their homes or like fake backgrounds even. And so, just be authentic and find something that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, it'll be very clear to your end users that you're not enjoying it, and then they're not going to enjoy it. And so just do something that you love. But guys, I wanted to quickly thank everybody. Mahfouz, thanks. You did a great job setting up this webinar for everyone who attended, and we'll get you guys those 5 winners out your chocolate. Please connect with us online, and we're looking forward to seeing you next month for our next webinar. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.